Welcome back to X4 Foundations, Diamant here, and this will be episode 5 of our no DLC starter guide. Now, if you watched the end of episode 4, you'll know that I ended up with so much footage that I decided to go ahead and make that episode 4 into 2 separate episodes. So this is kind of the part 2 of that, so we'll make an episode 5, and we're going to pick up right where we left off. We had gotten the station up and running and was finishing the build, and we were about to start helping our headquarters finish up and open up the newer diplomacy features so that I can show you at least the beginning stages of that. So let me cut back into where we had left off in the previous episode and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're kind of out of the way. Let me go ahead and stop the ship and we'll take a review where we're at. So I went ahead and dropped off some items to the station, and I went over just now, you see me pulling away from the build storage. So now it has everything that it needs, so it's gonna start building this small storage container. Once that is finished, it'll actually be ready to go to do, excuse me, if I go to our research, it'll be ready to start researching. However, we're gonna cancel this. I actually don't want to research teleportation. It's a good thing to have, and you should definitely research it at some point. It just means that you can literally teleport to a ship. The first section is gonna be 1 sector away. I think this is, up to 3 sectors away. So if it's something you own, you can teleport straight into it, whether it's a station or a shift. Now, what I want to... No, he's going to describe it for us. Let me turn him down really quick. So what we want to do, though, just so that I can demonstrate what it looks like before the end of the episode, is going to be our diplomacy. So advanced components, advanced electronics, and energy cells are what we're going to need for our diplomatic network. So what this is going to do is it's going to create an embassy within our main headquarters that we can send diplomats to. And when it's finished, I'll actually show you what that looks like. Let's get out of here, though. He's got all the resources and stuff that he needs. We might have to run back and forth a little bit in order to provide him with supplies. But let's take a look at our other station. So let's go to property owned. Let's go to plan build. So our station is finished. That's a station. It's not much. I mean, we've got a couple of storage. We've got a solid and a container in case we need it. And like I said, we're not making anything, so we don't actually need any energy cells right now. We've got plenty of docking here. Let's go to the logical overview of the station. Our guys are bringing ore in, and they're stockpiling it. So right now, our hold is almost full. Our storage is almost full of ore, which is a good thing. We do need somebody to start selling the ore, though, so we're going to take care of that right now. But you notice our price is really, really cheap because we need to sell this stuff off. We don't have anybody coming in at the moment to buy any of it, so we're going to set that up manually. Let's do this. We're going to buy a new... Now, we're flying... I'll show you. We're flying a transporter, and a transporter has container storage. Normally for trading, if we were making a station that's manufacturing something, that's what we would need, would be container storage. But we're not doing that. We're doing a mining hub, at least for the moment. And so what we need is one of these miners, the same thing we're using to actually mine the ore, because they have the storage we need to actually transport it. Let's go with a minimum preset. And then let's have them, now he's gonna need hull parts, so we might need to ship some hull parts over. Actually, let's do this. Let's see if the Paranid can build them yet. Because they're a little bit faster. And if they have the hull parts for it, we won't have to wait for it. This is the Paranid version of a miner. Let's go with a minimum spec. Okay, yeah, so they actually have enough to make it. They have enough parts to actually make it. Let's do this. Let's upgrade the engine and then look at the travel speed, 4,000. So these are way faster. They don't have quite the same storage as the Argon ones do, but they're way faster than what the Argon ships are going to be. So let's add it to the shopping list. You'll notice we don't have any mining lasers or anything on it. So let's give that a moment to finish. All right, so the Plutus is done. So now what we're gonna do is head back over to our station. We can actually do it all right from here, but you know, I like to do things through the map. So then you right click, assign to the commander. This time he's gonna trade. So he's gonna be buying and selling. So the commander is gonna have him pick up ore and find somebody that wants to buy it and go sell it to them. And our price will go, what we're willing to buy and sell it for will change depending on how full our inventory is. And since we've used a small storage, we're just constantly gonna be selling the stuff that we mine. Now I do want to, well, we don't have enough money for it yet, so we're gonna hold off. I'm gonna assign one more. I like to have just as many sellers as I do miners, and we can keep adding to this if we wanted to, but he's up and running. Let's go ahead and make sure we're getting good naming conventions here. So second contact 7, trading station, and let's say ore. So we've gotten this finished. We're starting to assign ships to it, and it's assigned to ore. Now what we would do is go back to this station. We're gonna set the same thing up. Now this is gonna take a while because we're gonna need cash for it, but we're gonna set the same thing up for silicone, and we're gonna have a silicone station here, and we'll start assigning all of our silicone miners to that station, and we'll just use this as our hub for mining for these two sectors. And the reason we do that is, number one, we're in control of it for a station. Also, when we're just doing auto mine with 1-star pilots, they can go to their sector and nowhere else. So you have to mine it here and sell it here. When you do a station with a manager that has multiple stars, like our manager does, let me pull our manager up really quick. She has 2 stars in management. That means she can go up to 2 different sectors. So she can go from here and go 1 jump that way, and she can go 1, 2 this direction, or 1, 2 into Argon Prime. Now when you go 3 stars, she can go even further than that, but she can sell anywhere in here, anywhere in Black Hole Sun, anywhere in Argon Prime, and any of the second contact sectors. So anybody that needs ore, she can send her sellers out to go sell it to them, and other ships, once we kind of corner the market, and hopefully we will, they'll start sending their ships in to buy from us and sell and send that stuff off to their refineries. But that's why it's nice to use a station instead of a whole bunch of individual miners, because you can just manage it. You have one central hub, and the manager extends the reach of everybody. So I'm gonna cut out. I've got to get the resources collected. Let me see what we need here. If I go back to research, and we go back to diplomacy. Oh, he's short on cash. So we need all of these items here, and we need to go out and collect those for Bozota so that we can actually, so I can show you what the diplomacy looks like. I'm just taking a peek in at our station to see how it's doing. And I've noticed this is the Plutus. That's our merchant ship. That's our seller. So he just flew back into, it looks like he's got orders to head out. So he just docked. Yep, and you can see him. He's right there, docked at one of the medium docking platforms. And I've got him selected so we can see his, yep, there we go. So he just filled up his inventory with ore. Now this gray line right here should be where he's going. Let's follow and see where he's headed. Okay, yeah, because we have a decent manager, he's heading over here, and there we go. So he's heading over to Black Hole Sun 4 to sell ore, because this place needs like 14,000 of it, and it's buying it at a price that we're willing to sell. So when he completes that trade, that money will go back into the station's inventory and into the station's budget, and the station will periodically take its excess and dump it into our budget, which is, or our wallet right here, which is awesome. So we'll let them do their thing, and we'll continue on. And we're working on research for the main headquarters. So we are back at the main headquarters, and we're still trying to get him resources for research for diplomacy. We brought him a bunch of energy cells. I gave him more than enough because you need those for all kinds of things. So these 2 components here, advanced let's see here. Advanced composites and advanced electronics. I found them. I put my filters in, and it looks like we've got a couple of spots where we can go and search for those. Now, they're a little bit harder to find. Here we go. So this sector has stations that sell both of them. You can see the pointer there. It's telling us where to go ahead and get them. So what I would like to do is I'm just going to send the trader off to go ahead and do his own thing. We're going to want our ships back though. So let's go back to our Mercury, and what we can do is clear these out. So if I select him, I can go here, remove all orders and assignments. So that clears everything from our main player ship that we were using. And then this is our scout. So let's do the same thing with the scout. Remove all orders and assignments. So that's going to clear things out. Then we're going to set them to dock here. So that'll send the Perseus back, and we'll send our scout back to the main headquarters. They should be nearby because they were hovering around our ship to protect it. So they should be here, and they should be landing at our headquarters at this point. And so now all of their orders are cleared. So that's how you can just wipe out all of the orders on somebody. See right over there? They're actually over there docking. So what we're gonna do at this point, we're gonna turn over control of our Mercury. So our headquarters is going to need a subordinate. Now, specifically, he needs to get, sorry guys if I'm taking too long to do this or I'm scrolling around. There we go, advanced composites. So we're going to set up an order for him to go here and buy some composites. We're going to need them for different things. So do maybe, they take up a lot of space, don't they? So go ahead and buy 113 of those. So advanced composites, and then we also needed advanced electronics. So this is an electronics factory. Now there's a lot of stuff on my screen right now, so we can get rid of some of these filters. Like if we get rid of mining, we're good. If we get rid of other, that'll get rid of our probes. So we can go to the advanced electronics, trade, and then maybe get about 100 of these, like 150. There we go. Expensive, but it's okay. So he's gonna go here and buy, he's gonna go here and buy, and then let's go back to our headquarters. And then you're going to, I don't like, if you do trade, well, I tend to just do transfer because then it'll just straight up transfer it. So if we transfer it, you can do it with just the station or the build storage. We're doing research for this, so we need it for the station. The station itself needs to have these things in their inventory. So he's gonna show up, come back to our headquarters and deposit these two things. It's telling me I needed 35 and 88, so he'll have more than enough. So confirm that. So now he's gonna fly out on that mission, and then after that, we're just gonna assign him to trade for the commander. So we're gonna do trade for Alpha Squadron. So you can have those are just the different squadrons that you can have. He will go ahead and complete that order because that is in his queue, but he'll then be assigned to the headquarters in order to, well, actually, hang on. Did you just erase it? I may have actually just learned something. Yep. When you do that, he is going to, that'll wipe out all of his orders from before. All right, so let's do this. I hate to do that, guys. I apologize. We'll set that up again because it will wipe out the orders. All right, 127 of those. And then we're gonna come over here and we're gonna go to the advanced electronics. And we'll fill up the inventory with those just like we did before. And now we'll head over here, we'll transfer wares with the station, and it's gonna have everything that it needs. Okay, so now he'll actually do it. When I assigned him, and I honestly did not know that, so I just learned something. When you assign him to somebody, it wipes everything out. So I shouldn't have done that first, but no big deal. We did it second. Now he'll make the trade, and when those orders will override anything else. Once those orders are completed, once all this stuff is completed, he's gonna go back to his assignment, which is trading for our main headquarters, so we're good to go there. So let's head over to our smaller ships while we're waiting for that to go through. All right, so we are back in our personal ship, and if we have a look at the map, the Mercury is heading out to go ahead and complete those trade orders that we just gave it, and then it'll begin its new assignment working for our manager for the station. In the meantime, we would like to start the process for getting our next station. So this is the ore station, and it's doing its thing. What we would want to do is let's go to plan build. This station's finished for now. However, we do like this layout, so we're going to use this for our silicone. So what we can do is we can actually go to here and hit save, and we can call this a we'll just call it mining station plan, and we'll save it as a brand new one. So now we've saved this loadout. What we want to do now is start building our silicone station, and we're going to build that right up here. So let's go to manage a plot, just like we did before. Create a new plot. Put it right, I would say probably right here. And then we're going to need to raise it up. And like I said, this is very finicky, so I may have to cut out and then come back after it's let me actually do it. There we go. It lets me raise up, and I'm holding shift at this point. We'll leave it right there. That's a good place for it. And notice the orientation. Let's do... Nope, that'll work just fine. So let's go to here. Let's buy the license. And then hit continue. So now we have a new plot. So what we're going to do is go back to our plan and say... Now these are grayed out because I don't own the blueprints for some of these other things that I've used in the past. But if I go to my mining station plan... Now remember, the orientation was that direction. So we want to flip this around. So we're going to rotate it. It doesn't like our placement, which is fine. We'll grab the whole thing and drag it over. We're still more or less centered, and we'll leave a gap right here so that we can build things in the front if we want to. But that's it. Now we have the exact same station, and we're going to need the exact same things. One solid storage for silicone, one container storage for anything else, and we can confirm. So I'll confirm the module changes. This is what we're going to need for the build. We probably don't need these container storage because that was from earlier when I was thinking I needed cells, but we'll leave it in there. So 655,000 is what it's going to need. We'll accept it. I need to assign a builder. Hopefully, I can see one somewhere in the universe, which... We do not. We do not see a builder. We gotta get some satellites out. No worries. Let me go find a builder and I'll be right back. Oh, here we go. Here's a builder right here. And I don't think he's assigned to anything, but let's get in his orbit so that he doesn't move away on us while we're off screen. All right, there we go.
Engine stopped.
So the engine is stopped. We're moving at 65 meters per second because that's how fast he's moving. So here's our builder. Let's head back to... This is our generic factory. Go back to plan build. Go to hire a builder. And there he is. That's the one we're on top of. It's probably the one we were using just a minute ago. So we're going to select him. He is now assigned to the build. We're going to accept the estimate. I'm actually going to increase this a little bit. I'm going to give him maybe 760,000 just in case these prices change. And you're going to notice right off the bat, like, he found Claytronics already, which is really, really nice. So we're going to let that operate in the background and not worry about it. So now we have two stations being built in this sector. And they're both within this main highway. I still haven't corrected these resource probes, but, you know, life goes on here. this will actually change. Pretty soon it'll say, once we've assigned some of the tasks for it, it'll say trading station, so we don't have to worry about that. And then what we want to look at, though, is our inventory to see if, oops, that's inventory right here. Do I have any seminars? I have a basic and I have a 1-star, so we're good. So we'll actually be able to, oh yep, he's pulling away from us. That's okay though, we don't need him anymore. He's off to do our bidding. So I'll have 2 management seminars that I need to get to a 2-star manager. So once this is built, or once it starts getting built and the docking module is finished, we'll be able to then sign a manager, and it's the same exact process that we used for the ore refinery. We're just doing it for the silicone refinery. All right, so let's finish our diplomacy research, and we'll dive into that a little bit.
Splendid!
Oh, right.
You have now completed all required research and obtained the necessary certifications to engage in diplomatic affairs at the embassy. I look forward to your contributions to interstellar relations. I hope this finds you well. With your
I'll let him
acquired
describe it.
expertise, you may now invite diplomats from friendly factions to your headquarters.
Okay, well, you kind of described it really well. So let me get up here. So our diplomacy research has finished. Actually, let me get him started on something. Let him go ahead and do.
It appears some Terran technology was being. I look forward to seeing how this turns out.
I already had everything I needed for teleportation, so he's going to start on teleportation. Okay, perfect. Well, anyway, so we finished diplomacy, and what we can do, if we look at our standings, anybody that's 10 or better, we can actually, let me sort this by, you can sort this by name, by default. I don't know why it does it a certain way by default, but anyway, relations with Antigone and Argon, and because we've had our auto miners rolling around in Grand Exchange, that has given us every trade you make gives you standing with a faction. So Talati is actually ready to accept us as well. So we'll be able to scoop them up in just a moment. But anyway, we're on, let me show you where we're at. We're in Grand Exchange we're in Antigone Memorial, and we're getting ready to grab a diplomat from Antigone. So we're back to the same representative that we went to before to get promoted. And now he's gonna have another dialogue option. Now we've got diplomacy open because we've completed the research. So if we go here, I want to invite a diplomat.
Relaying message.
The Antigone Republic
That's our
gladly
diplomat.
accepts your invitation. You can never have enough friends. I will arrive at your station shortly.
Good luck out there.
All right, so he's on his way out to our
Diplomats are
station.
authorized by their governments to ratify blueprint sales. They may also organize promotional ceremonies on behalf of their factions. This means you would be climbing the ladder. Good faith preparation is, of course, anticipated. Should relations deteriorate, foreign diplomats may be recalled.
Perseus.
And again, he kind of describes it for you. Basically, that diplomat's going to head out to our base, and he's going to be there, easily available for us whenever we need it, and I'll show you what that looks like. In the meantime, we're going to go grab the other 2 factions so that we'll have a few different diplomats there. Next is going to be Argon, because they're right on the way. And again, you're looking for, let me get rid of the trade interface there. You're looking for the crown symbol there, so we need to head here. So we'll start guidance, and then let's do autopilot.
I have arrived at your embassy and I'm looking forward to working with you.
And he's already out there, so we'll be able to contact him in just a moment. A couple things, let me turn down the game volume here. There are a few other things that I want to at least mention, although they're a little outside of the scope of this guide series. One is going to be mostly the research tree. Right now we're doing teleportation, which I talked about before, which is awesome to get. Diplomacy is awesome. I'll show you what that looks like when we get back to the headquarters. The middle section is just as important. So if you were to ask what's the most important thing for research, it all works out to be useful, no matter what it is. I would say the hacking might be the last thing that you do. Yep, that's for a DLC quest. We're not worried about scan mode there. But it's the same thing. You're gonna grab these resources for the individual thing you want to be able to hack. And then what you're going to end up doing is go out to somebody else's stations, go to those individual modules that we described, and if you'd like to know how to build that module, there are certain EMP bombs that you're going to put on there, and you got to be really careful. You can aggro the station if you do it wrong, but you'll be able to generate data points after the bomb goes off, and then you scan those data points and you will be able to learn those modules. So that's what this hacking section is for, is learning how to build and get blueprints for modules so you don't have to spend millions of credits buying them off of the representative. So it can save, it's a money saver basically. But if you're just loaded on cash, you don't have to care about this, you just go to the representatives. Modding we didn't get into very much, and I'll show you that after I get to the wharf. I'll show you what that looks like. There are certain stations you can go to, and you're going to use all of those things that you're looting off of ships, those inventory crates, all the stuff that's here. Let me see if I actually have anything there. Yeah, a lot of this stuff here that you loot off of ships when they explode, you're going to use to modify your existing ships and make them extremely powerful. And I'll actually show you which bench you go to here in just a second. All right, so here we are at the Argonne shipyard. So at either a shipyard or a wharf, I'll show you the desk to go to. You're gonna go to the ship dealership. This is where you would physically walk to if you wanted to just buy a ship and you don't want to use the interface for it. This lady right here will sell you ships, just like the, actually, I'll just show you. If you go here and talk to her.
Hello there.
And you say buy ships, she's gonna go right to this menu that we've been using this whole time for us to buy and sell our ships. These are your crafting desks. This is gonna be your workbench, and this is your crafting bench. The workbench is where you're gonna go for modifications. Now there's not much here, obviously, because we haven't researched any of them yet, but as we do these, like chassis, the weapons, turrets, shields, engines, the modifications will pop up here. It'll give you the crafting interface to tell you, and it'll look something like this. It'll tell you what you need in order to craft it, and then you start and it'll ask you what ship you want to put them on, which usually it's just gonna be the ship docked there. But with your own stations, you can do shipyards and such, and you'll actually have these workbenches there too. But this is what you're going to use to modify, even though we didn't get to it in this kind of guide. It does become important, especially as you start getting a lot of loot. You can make really, really exceptionally powerful ships by modifying them all the way up. But let me go ahead and collect the Argonne representative. Let me get the diplomat for Argonne and the diplomat for the Talati, and then we'll head back to our headquarters.
Granted.
All right, so we are back at our headquarters. Let me get landed here, and I'll show you what the embassy looks like. That's going to be a new feature that will go live as of me recording this in about 4 days. Let's go to right here, the embassy. And this is where all of the diplomats will sit. Now there's a million different chairs in here because those are all the different factions and all the different races in the game. As you gain enough standing with them, they'll actually have a seat at this table. Now at any point in time, it's really convenient. Like this is the Antigone representative. When I go to him, if I'm gonna be promoted, I can click the button here, just like I would at the station. If I wanna buy blueprints, I can go right here, and it's got all of the blueprints that Antigone sells. So all this stuff is really conveniently placed right here so you can get to it. Like that's gonna be the Argonne, that's for the Talati. So that's most of the core systems. Now let's take a look at kind of where we're at. So as far as our station, and this will have to do with diplomacy sort of. If I go to our station builds here, the second station has finished about half of its modules. So now it needs a few more hull parts, but it's building a solid storage, and then it's gonna build a container storage. But it's ready to go, and I can assign a manager to it, and we can do the same exact process we did with our first station, except it'll be for silicone. If I go to here, go to the logical overview on this station, we'll notice that The ore inventory is going up and down. We're selling it and we're bringing it in. We're selling it and bringing it in. However, we're not selling it as fast as we're bringing it in. So maybe from a management's perspective, we need one more ship as a seller, as a merchant, to go out and start sending out ore to maybe Black Hole Sun or anybody else that actually needs it, so we can start chipping away at this inventory. But it is making money. You can go to the transaction log on a station. You'll notice these are all transactions from this station or related to this station. Like, it's selling ore. Like, throughout the hour, it has actually made about 44,000 credits, which isn't that much, but as it gets spun up, it'll actually start making more and more money, and it'll just be free cash. And that's the benefit of stations. You can let them run in the background, they'll take care of themselves, and they'll make money for you, which is absolutely awesome. And that kind of sums it up. Let me go back to my ship here. Let's go back to the Perseus. The only other thing I would say is you want to continue your research. So if we head over and I go to the research panel, I've got teleportation, the second part of teleportation begun at this point. I need to give him more money for it. So from here, you'd want to just expand out. Go into the galaxy, do whatever you want to do. Expand your stations, build new stations in new areas, interact with factions, do missions, whatever it is that you want to do. That gives you an idea of basic setup. The next things would end up being your hacking, which you're just going to need resources for that, or you can start getting into modifications. So if I do this and cancel this, and I go to, let's say, engine mods, these will be a little bit different. These are just... I'm going to turn him down because he'll talk. These are just going to be more or less fetch quests. If I go here and I start the research on this, and he wants me to do racing.
Set up where you can prove your skills. The prize? Components for teams to incorporate into
And
their
just like
racing
that.
craft.
Let me turn him down. So he's going to send you off, and this one happens to be in Grand Exchange. You're going to head out to Grand Exchange, and I think that's the marker for it. You just need a fast ship. Mine with about 5,000 travel speed should be fast enough to complete it, and you'll just have a course that you have to run, and you're timed. As long as you complete the course on time, you'll get the reward, and the reward will be a component that'll let you start doing engine modifications. And the rest of these will do the same thing. They'll just be quests that you go out. Once they're completed, then you'll be able to make that tier of modifications. From a diplomacy standpoint, the other thing that we're not able to do right now is agents. And I won't have time to get into that in this guide, but as you progress within the story quests, you'll open up the ability to hire agents that can do diplomatic missions. They can get items for you. They can start spying on your enemies or stealing things from your energies. So you'll see it's this whole other clandestine system that you can dive into. That centers through a character called Dalbasta, which we haven't unlocked because that's through the story quests. So the other thing would be to do your story quests. Mission offers here. Like if I go to Mission Manager, most of these are DLCs, but Dalbasta is this one right here. This is the Hatikva story quest. It's the most basic storyline quest that you're gonna do, and it's the first one that gets offered to you. And so you just complete it. It'll tell you exactly what you want to do. Once you've completed it, this guy, after some time, will show up for you and be able to help you recruit agents and deploy agents out on missions. And that's it. I mean, that is the basics behind X4. Hopefully this guide helped you guys out. There are way more systems. There are tons of expansion packs that add even more to it. But if you just own the base game, this should actually get you started. So I appreciate you guys watching this. If you have any questions or if there's anything that I didn't cover, let me know and I'll try to answer the questions for you. And more content coming next week. We've got the diplomacy update hitting, and we've got a DLC with a brand new ship, which I definitely am going to be taking a look at and we're going to upload content for. But until then, I'll see you and have a good one.